Hello, beautiful people. On this day, April 8th, I'm making this video about the eclipse that is happening today. Such a major event, a lot of buzzing, a lot of talking about it. Some people are even going to see it. So I wanted to give my perspective of what's going on astrologically and also why I wouldn't actually be watching the eclipse. So something that's happening. Hello everyone, thanks for welcome for joining. Oh my goodness, it's morning time, so I'm losing my language, but let's get to the eclipse. What we have right now is a major alignment because every eclipse is a conjunction of different aspects on the sky. So in this case we have moon and sun conjunct, meaning they come together in one place. That's why we also call it a new moon. But what also is happening is that we have a major player, which is a Chiron, and it's right there together with the sun and the moon. So the eclipses come in pairs, at least two of them, right? So we already had one eclipse 2 weeks ago, and today we have another one. And this one is, like I said, the conjunction of sun and moon. And together with that is the Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer, is the energy that we hold from lives and lives and lives of wisdom that we accumulate, and also pain. The archetype of Chiron is the medicine man. And so we in astrology, in the way that I work, I use astrology as guidance to understand what are the archetypical kind of place and energies that we are dealing with to help us psychologically go through the processes. So how can it look personally? I think a lot of us may feel trapped today, trapped in our wound, trapped in our limited identity, because this whole thing is happening in Aries. And with this limited identity, we're not able to come up with the solutions to the issues that are at hand. Some of us may even feel trapped, in whatever the life circumstances that we're in, like on a bigger scale, and maybe you are just driving and there's a lot of traffic. But I would always go back to the deeper feelings that this is rising in you, this sense of feeling trapped and not being able to get out, and where the roots are for you there. So in addition, with the Chiron being in Aries right next to this beautiful and powerful and scary in a way eclipse, we also have Mars that is in conjunction with Saturn in Pisces. We also have conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus, and we also have Venus in Aries, and also Mercury retrograde in Aries. So there's just a lot of players in this event. If we look at the ruling energy of this eclipse, and it is because we have the eclipse in the sign of Aries, with all this energy in Aries, and the ruler of Aries is Mars. Mars is currently positioned in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is ultimate ending, ultimate completion, disillusionment, and coming into oneness. It's the ultimate spiritual sign. But Mars is very unhappy there because it's unable to move, it's unable to see clearly, because everything is one, there is no language, and Mars is all about activity and action and movement forward. And so, especially in conjunction with Saturn that's right now happening together, Mars feels limited. Mars feels like we cannot do what we have to do. We cannot do what we want to do. So this whole eclipse, to me, is a sign to go deeper inward. This is a great eclipse to do some deep meditative practices, connecting with energy, connecting with nature, and not being around a lot of people. I wouldn't recommend being around a lot of people. because as much as Pisces is the spiritual sign, it's also a sign where we see a lot of mental disturbances and escapism into drugs and whatever, anything. There's a lot of modalities that we use these days to escape emotionally, right? So anything that can hold you in the present moment would be a great practice for today, for the eclipse. And with the Mercury that is now also in Aries and going retrograde, there is a lot of revisioning to who we are, how we want to be seen, how we want to act in the world. And I believe the major question is who we are no longer are, because with the Chiron being there, with a lot of spiritual healing, we're going to be witnessing a lot of discomfort, and that discomfort shows us something about our past story, something that we've been attached to, something that's been stored in the body on the emotional level because we keep repeating the story. So it's reviewing, going into those parts of our identity that are too small, too scared, seeing how can we support them, and how can we bring some nurturance to them. With the other two major planets that I already mentioned, Jupiter and Uranus, coming into exact conjunction in just a few days, but still they are very much in conjunction in Taurus, we see a lot of ungrounded energy. I do believe that the inner core, inner foundation is being tested, because we have Uranus, which is this, shifter of paradigms. It's a very Saturn energy. It's a lot about expanding your mind, going beyond what is known, seeing the future, walking into the future, oftentimes being too early for the future, right? Like carrying the future, but having no infrastructure to play that. But with this Uranus energy that is very Saturn, we also have Jupiter, which is an expansion energy. So there may be some sudden events that are really big and noticeable. And they can be on a collective level. We may be seeing that will just be coming through April that we couldn't expect, like the earthquake in where I am, right, on the East Coast, for example, is one of those signs, because it's in the this whole conjunction in Taurus. So, but psychologically, I believe it's the inner foundation that's being tested. What are we laying ourselves on, our actions on? Is that foundation what we value, what we chose for ourselves as goals? Is it really where we want to be? Is this really where we're going? Is this really enough for us right now? And I think this is where we are like a chick that's trying to come out of an egg, breaking through an egg, and uncomfortable inside of that egg right now. And there's this process of breaking through the egg. I really see that it's kind of like this energy for the eclipse. And so there could be sudden shifts, there could be unexpected events that may trigger us deeply, may trigger us into, what safety is for us, and so that we can review what it is for us and where we find our power, where we find our foundation to hold this life and to move forward. One more word about Venus that's right now in Aries. Venus entered Aries. Venus doesn't really like to be in Aries because Venus is all about this, femininity and love and relationships. But here in Aries, she is about, okay, who am I? Who am I? Because Aries is about identity, is about, your personality, is about action. And so she is not there in relationship. She's looking, okay, what do I need? What are my needs for me to hold on to relationships that may be painful? Maybe this is the sign for me to leave them, right? So I do believe there's a lot of ending to relationships that is happening right now, or at least to this dynamics of the relationships that we have. We need to again change something. So she has a lot of questions, and she may feel alone. She may feel like she has no support there, because she's in this sort of time that she has to do something and move and act, but she's still not sure who she is and who her partner is. So with the final words, why I wouldn't actually watch the eclipse, I wanted to share with you a few words about that. Why I don't want to watch the eclipse. There's a lot of buzzing going around, a lot of like sort of attractive energies, come, see, it's so powerful, etc. But if we look back into some of the traditions that are more in tune with nature and have been observing the natural processes with more intimacy, let's put it this way, they suggest that this time is not to be outside. This is, if we look psychologically, the archetype of the moon is the subconscious. So when the subconscious covers our conscious, right, because the moon is going to come in front of the sun, will cover the light of the conscious. That means that a lot of shadow is going to be visible, let's put it this way. It's going to be coming through, it's going to be rising. So there could be a lot of unsettled energy around, there could be a lot of emotional reactivity, to say the least. But there's also something that's happening that we have to understand in this day and age that we live, is that whenever there are a lot of amounts of people that are focusing on one thing, there is an agenda behind it. And there are powers that can manipulate you through your attention. And wherever you put your attention, they can subliminally manipulate you through that. So I would be careful watching the eclipse, just because you don't know what else is going on. Social engineering is a real thing if you want to look into it. You know, it's basically how the powers can control the decisions of the people. And the eclipse, as well as many other big events that are promoted for people to view and participate in, are those opportunities for whoever wants to come into the consciousness, penetrate it through some subliminal ways, and manipulate your decision making. So not to put you in fear, not to get you scared, but at least to question what's the common sort of like big agenda, and whether you actually want to participate in it. Usually intuitively you would actually, if you feel into it, you can see that there is just a lot of influence, there's a lot of interests that are in play. And I would recommend meditating and keeping your attention and awareness on anything that's rising. So not necessarily suppressing if there are negative emotions, fears unconsciously coming that maybe not even related to this day, but actually witnessing them. This is the practice, I would say, is the most important today, is to witness what's present, and also to then meditate and connect on gratitude, connect on the higher frequencies, because the pull down is really strong today. The pull into the subconscious, the pull into the darkness will be very strong today. And for our identity to rebirth, to shift into a new size, bigger, we really need to bring a little bit more spiritual light. So that's why, again, Mars as the ruler of this eclipse is in Pisces. Any kind of spiritual practices that are not about escaping, but about being in the present moment, would, I believe, serve us the most on a personal level and also on the collective level, because who knows what agenda is being played out right now. But at the same time, if we connect with our consciousness and our hearts to the beauty that we see from inside, to the love that we feel in our hearts, that can uplift us greatly. So this is my message for you for this eclipse season. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want to get a personal review of your natal chart, I can also do that, because this whole transit situation is also in your personal chart, affecting specific areas of your life, specific parts of your beingness, and there's more answers you can find through that prism. Okay, with so much love, happy Monday.